What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining me for today's video. We're going to talk a little bit more about the two camps that are out there as far as high protein versus high fat and the relationship to our macros and how we're progressing in our journey. And I'm going to dig in a little bit more into my stance that high fat for the sake of high fat is not the answer to what most people are looking for, and why the people who are advocating for high fat are missing the point. Stay tuned. All right, guys, what's going on? I'm Coach Bronson. I've been coaching for 12 years or so in the health and fitness space. I've been doing carnivore nutrition coaching for almost 4 years, and I've seen a lot. Seen a lot of different methodologies and protocols and different ways that people approach this whole health and fitness thing. So we're going to talk today about the relationship between health and fitness. A lot of times people look at them as two different things, and we're going to maybe bring them a little bit closer together and kind of give you a bigger view into what it actually means to be healthy. Okay. Then we're going to apply some context to a lot of the information that's been coming out in the keto space lately, where some people are saying you need more protein, some people are saying you need more fat, and where the context of where that information comes from is important. I think everyone needs to understand, because if you're shooting for one goal, but you're following information that's targeted at a completely different goal, you're gonna be stuck. You're not doing what you need to do to get where you need to go. Okay. So what we want to do in this whole process, guys, what we want to do, this is what I want you to understand. You need to identify where you're trying to go, and then apply the context of who is giving you the information. Are they where you want to be? Okay. Is the information that they're giving you going to get you where you want to be? And then is it applying to your life? Can you do it in a way that's actually going to work for you? Okay. So that's where context comes into this whole thing. Okay. Remember, the information that you're getting came from somewhere. What is the mindset? What is the history? What is the background? What is the goal of where that person was working or trying to get to, or got their information, or what's their experience? How did they come up with that information, and does it apply to your situation? All right. So let's talk about the relationship between health and fitness, because everybody's in this to get healthy, I would assume. That's why we're on this journey. That's why we're doing these things. That's why we're looking for people online to give us information about fitness and health and nutrition and what it means to be healthy, et cetera. That's not the same thing that a lot of people think it is. Okay. Many, many, many people in the space, in the keto space, in the carnivore space, in the general health and fitness space, people that get into coaching, people that become influencers, people that start doing this stuff and putting their information out there for the world to see and people to use. Many of them start because they did something themselves that they saw an impact in their lives, so they want to share their story. Okay. This is where context comes in. Many of them, because society, if you think about what is society focused on, society is focused on fat loss. Society is focused on weight loss. You don't hear many people talking about improving quality of life. You hear them talking about what's on the scale, how much are your clothes changing, are you losing weight, are you getting skinny? Okay. So when we look at a lot of the information, now this isn't just influencers who are not doctors or scientists or whatever. We're also talking about doctors. Many, many, many doctors that are out there are weight loss doctors. Or if you go to a doctor, they tell you have these problems. They say, what do they tell you? If you lose the weight, then we can do X, Y, or Z. If you lose the weight, then this problem will go away. Everybody is focused on losing weight. Okay. And I'm here to tell you guys, weight loss is not health. Weight loss is not health. There are millions of people out there today, right this minute, who are skinny and metabolically unhealthy. They are sick. Okay. Obesity is not a disease of size. It is a disease of fat. You can be sarcopenic. You can be low muscle mass and high body fat percentage and still be a size 2. Doesn't mean you don't have to be 300 pounds to be obese. Okay. The standards of obesity have nothing to do. Okay. Now the standards of obesity, we talk about BMI and all that kind of stuff. It's another reason why I hate BMI, because it doesn't work. Okay. I work with women daily who are 115 pounds, 120 pounds, 130 pounds. Okay. And they are obese because the amount of fat on their body far, 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 far exceeds the amount of muscle on their body. They have physical limitations. They are not strong. They are not resilient. They get hurt easily. They can't go a whole day without being wiped. They have no ability to manage stress and the demands that stress puts on our body because they are skinny. They focus so much time and energy on being skinny that they have missed being healthy. Okay. And what I'm talking about, guys, is something called the wellness continuum. Okay. The wellness continuum is the concept when we look at all of the markers of health and we compare those markers to the impact they have on our physical body. So if we look at all of the things, when we think of being healthy, this is the stuff I hear all the time. I'm healing. I want to do this diet so I can heal my body. Okay. We look at blood sugar, we look at insulin, we look at inflammation markers, we look at cholesterol, we look at hormone panels, we do all this blood work. And if those things are getting better, then we feel like we are making progress. And you are. But here's the thing. The other aspects of your health are not biological. They are physiological and they are neurological. There are 3 aspects to our bodies that we need to make sure they are working properly. And it's not just the biology of our bodies. We need to make sure that our brain is working well. We need to make sure that our central nervous system is able to be parasympathetic and sympathetic, that it's able to control our body and our movement, balance, coordination. What's one of the biggest things that goes away when people get old? They lose balance, they lose coordination. They're not using their brain, they're not using their body. They lose the ability to control their body. Okay. They need to be strong. They need to be able to function in different metabolic pathways. You need to be able to do short burst, intense work. You need to be able to move things. You need to be able to work all day long and not wear out from lack of energy. There are physiological, biological, and neurological aspects to health. Most people, and this is the biggest piece of the context I want you to understand, most people in the nutrition and fitness space are focused on weight loss, fat loss. None of that has anything to do with the biological, physiological, or neurological components of your actual health. Okay? Because you can fix your weight and not fix your health at all. You can fix your weight and actually decrease your health if you don't do it the right way. You can become more unhealthy by losing weight. Just how it works, guys. Okay. So that's the first context I want you to understand, the relationship between health and fitness. Fitness is the physical representation of health. If you get fit, you will improve your health. If you improve your muscle mass, you will improve your health. If you improve your body's ability to move and your flexibility, you will improve your health. If you improve the fuel that you put into your body, you will improve your health. You will improve your body's ability to move and do things. You will focus on and you will improve all 3 aspects of health. Okay. I cannot impress on you enough how you need to work on all 3 aspects. It's not just about weight loss. Okay. The idea of I'm healing, which I hear all the time, is not a static process. It's not something that just happens to you. You have to take action, and it has to encompass all three areas of what your body is comprised of. Okay. Just like your body is not just weight, your body is bone and tissue and muscle and fat and water and blood and electrolytes and all the different components of things that make up your body. Your all of that stuff goes into your biology, your physiology, and your neurology. That is health. If you're not improving all three, then you are not healing. Say that again. If you are not improving your biology, your physiology, and your neurology, you are not healing. And let me tell you something. You can't do all three with just nutrition. It doesn't work that way. You need to move your body. You need to push weight. You need to challenge yourself physically in order to get healthy, period. Okay? So that's the first piece of the context I want you to understand. Okay? So that's what the goal should be. The goal is not about weight loss. The goal is not about fat loss. The goal is about improving your body's ability to function, because that is what improves your quality of life. That's what improves your quality of life. This is about making you live better, helping you live longer, helping you be as self-independent as possible for as long as possible. Okay? Now that we're all on the same sheet of music, what are we trying to do? That's what we're trying to do. Okay? Now let's talk about the context of where this whole high fat, high protein narrative comes from. Okay? We're gonna compare two things. We're gonna compare some characteristics of the source, the sources, where this information is coming from, and then look again at the results. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about the sources. There's a couple different areas here: goals and common discussion points. So what are the goals? That the sources of these two camps, we're going to break these up into two camps. There's the high protein camp and the high fat camp. We're not getting it into what does high protein even mean, or what does high fat even mean. Basically, right now, we're going to say that in this discussion, I'm talking about people who, influencers, doctors, people out there in the space, coaches, who are saying that we need more fat than we need protein, or we need more protein than we need fat. They're comparing the two. You guys know how I feel about that. We'll talk about it at the end. Okay. They don't need to be compared to each other. Adequate is the answer. But let's talk about the camps and what you're hearing and how to filter out what you should or shouldn't be listening to. Okay. That's what this is about. This is about, I'm giving you information, and I want you to give you some context so you can wrap your head around where this information is coming from and if you should even be listening to it. Okay. So we're looking at the goals of the sources. By sources, I mean the people, the influencers, the doctors, and coaches that are saying this stuff. Okay. The goals. What are some of the common discussion points? The personal history. Okay. And then even the gender, because the gender plays a role, and I'll explain why. What is the physical appearance of these people as well? Because remember, fitness is the physical representation of health. So what these people look like, what they're physically capable of doing, plays a role in your determination of what you should be listening to. It does. Okay. It's not superficial. It's not something that is just aesthetic. They look this way, so whatever, it means something. And you guys need to understand that. We need to get away from this idea that focusing on appearance is shallow or doesn't make any sense, because it's not about how you look. It's not about how you look at all. I 100% agree that your appearance doesn't mean squat, except if you are in shape and healthy, you will look like you are in shape and healthy. If you've lost a lot of weight, you'll look like you've just lost a lot of weight. It's not the same thing. Okay. So let's go back to the beginning. Sources and the results. Sources. Okay. Goals. One of the goals. Okay. This goes into the common discussion points and the things that are being talked about, why you should do this. Okay. You have two camps. In the high fat, hot fat should be higher than protein camp. What do we hear all the time? Okay. If you want to lose weight, this is about fat loss. This is about improving your mitochondrial health. This is about doing all of those things to shed the weight off your body. If you listen to all of them, it all goes back towards weight loss. Okay. If you look at the physical activity that's done, if you look at the people that are recommending, this also goes for intermittent fasting, by the way. Anybody that's recommending intermittent fasting, side note, anyone that's recommending intermittent fasting is also talking about how to improve fat loss. They're not talking about anything else. They're talking about how to lose weight faster. That's all it is. Okay. It's not about improving metabolic function and physical ability. That's the goal. Metabolic function and physical ability, not one or the other. It's both. Okay. Where's it going? The higher fat than higher protein side. Okay. These are the things that we look at. The focus and the goal is almost always weight loss or fat loss. The recommendations for physical activity is almost never build muscle, lift weights, do resistance training. It's always about doing the easiest thing that you can. Go for a walk. That's probably the number one thing I hear in this space. All I do is walk. It's that self-testimony of, I don't do that much. I don't lift a lot of weights. I might do yoga. I might go for walks all the time and things like that. It's all about letting your body heal, so not stressing it out too much by doing physical activity. Okay? Just FYI, no. We'll leave that at that. Okay? The people the influencers that are always that are talking about high fat should be higher than protein. Also, most of them that I know of have a history of weight loss, dramatic transformations of weight loss, or they work with clients who their dramatic transformation stories of weight loss is what they work for and what they try to get their clients to do. Okay. Their stories are about weight loss. What they've done in their life is about weight loss. So that's what they're talking about. Okay. Has their life gotten better? Absolutely. If you lose a lot of weight, for sure, your life is going to improve some. You're not going to be physically capable. And that goes into the next piece. If you look at the physical representation of the health of many of these people, okay, they have low muscle mass. Again, we talked about their physical activity. They don't do a lot of physically challenging things because they don't want to overstress their body. Their words, not mine. Okay. There's no need to do physical activity if all you're worried about is weight loss, because you can lose weight just eating food or not eating food. Okay. So the idea that the mindset and the goal and the practical application of a methodology for someone who doesn't think they need to exercise, that they're going to be physically fit, doesn't make sense. Okay. So if you're looking at some of these people and saying, well, they're skinny, they look like they've lost so much weight, blah, 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 they must be in shape. No, they're not prioritizing protein. They're not physically challenging their body, and they're not doing anything to be physically in shape. They are, in many cases, skinny fat. That's just what it is. I'm not blasting them and saying that that's not a good thing. It's better than where they were. And that's the challenge of applying this context. There has been progress. Their health has improved. Okay. But here's what happens, guys. And I want you to understand this. 90% of the people that I work with have done that, have been at that point, and then realized at somewhere along the way, there's more that I'm missing. I don't know what to do next because I've been focused on fat loss for so long. I've been focused on getting skinny for so long. I don't know how to become physically independent. because skinny and physically independent are not the same thing. Sorry, it's not. Okay. So those are some of the things I want you to think about. Okay. The context, the goal, the discussion points, the transformation stories, the experience, and the current condition of most of the people that I know of. There may be more. There's so many people out there right now, but most of the people that I know of, and many of them I know personally. And this is not an attack on anybody. I don't want anybody to think this is an attack. This is just applying context to the message. Okay. Applying context to the message. Every single one of these people is helping other people make a move, get started, make a change, do something to improve their life on some level. They're part of the team. We're all in this together. Okay. And everyone is helping everyone. That doesn't mean we all have the same message. That doesn't mean we all do things the same way. And that doesn't mean that you have to do the same thing as anybody else. That's why context is important. Okay. So let's look on the other side of the fence, the high protein versus the high fat side. If you look at the high protein side, what are we looking at? There are the same things, very similar. Okay. Many of the people that are talking about and promoting higher protein are coming from a weight loss journey. There's a little bit of difference though. Not only do they have a weight loss journey, but they have a history of physical activity. Many of them are former athletes. Many of them currently do things right now that are very, very physically demanding. They challenge their bodies physically. Okay. Their story is about weight loss. Their experience throws in the physical activity and the physical challenge. Okay. So they're talking about different things. They don't talk just about weight loss. They talk about building muscle. They talk about the need to do things that improve more than just your weight. So the message is a little different. A little different. Okay. What else we got here? Hold on. Looking at my notes. Yeah. So they've got that when they talk again because they're physically active, because their background experience is physical activity and physical challenge. When they talk about what people need to do, they include that in their message. So contrary to the high fat side, who is more often talking about not exercise because it provides too much stress on the body, the higher protein side of the fence is saying you need to exercise because your body needs the challenge in order to adapt. Your body can't get better, which is a fact. Your body can't get better at handling a stress if you don't make it handle the stress. Avoidance of stress actually increases chronic stress. That's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. If you avoid it, it makes it worse. If you face it, it gets better. There's a corollary there on a very many levels, and we'll have to do another talk on that. Okay, avoiding stress makes more stress. All right, so then when we talk about all that stuff, what does that mean when we talk about the physical appearance and conditioning? Well, what do you think? You're talking to somebody who prioritizes their protein, regardless of whether it's higher than their fat, whatever. I don't care. We're not talking about that specifically right now. Prioritizes the protein, is physically active, and puts their body under physical stress, and isn't worried about weight loss. What do you see? They look fit. They look like they are in shape. You can visibly see muscle. You can visibly see a shape that when you see that person walking down the street, you don't think, wow, that person's skinny. There's a difference. Looking at somebody and saying they're skinny versus looking at someone and saying they probably work out. Which one do you want to be? You want to be skinny or do you want to be fit? Okay. So these are some of the things, again, context. Where is it coming from? Where is the information about high protein coming from? What are the people that are saying you need more protein? What are they living like? What is their health? What is their lifestyle? What are the things that they're doing compared to the people that are saying you need high fat? Okay. Just some context there, guys. Just context. I'm not saying that either is bad or either is good. Okay. I have my preference because of my goals. And this obviously is coming through here, my bias and my prejudice towards increasing your protein and having protein and being focused on physical performance, because physical performance is the representation of what your body can do and how healthy you are. I don't care about your blood work. Your blood work will come along if you fix how your body works. That's the goal. Okay. So I'm biased because you guys know prioritize protein, but you also know you need fat and you need adequate fat. No, you don't need too much. You don't need too little. Same with protein. You don't need too much. You don't need too little. Neither of them have anything to do with each other. I never decide how much protein that I'm going to have based on how much fat I'm having. I never decide how much fat I'm going to have based on how much protein I'm having. They are independent knobs. They have nothing to do with each other. So when we're talking about this whole general thing about the debate between high fat versus high protein, it doesn't fucking matter. Okay? Get your body the amount of protein that it needs. Get your body the amount of fat that it needs. But I tell you what, if you are not getting the protein that you need, you are missing out on a huge, huge piece of the puzzle. Okay? So you guys know how I feel about this thing. Give your body nutrition, move your body so that you get better physically, move your body so that you get better with your central nervous system and with your physiology. Okay? Biology, physiology, neurology is what we need to improve, and we need fat and protein. Okay? And I'll throw in a little side there. We also need electrolytes. Okay? So it's kind of, electrolytes kind of to me are like a mini macronutrient. Like you got to have them no matter what. So always throw that in there. Just a little side note. Hope that was helpful, guys. Kind of deep, kind of serious, but I really want you to understand what the sources and the context applied to the sources of information are, so you can make the best decision for yourself and where you want to go. No matter where you are on your journey, there may be a case and you may be just more comfortable with going with one versus the other. It may feel like it's overwhelming, too complicated to do one versus the other. It doesn't matter. Okay. Most of all, I want to impress that anyone that I'm talking about, you can decide who you think I'm talking about. It doesn't really matter. There are so many people out there talking about either of these two concepts. Okay. Support them. Everyone's trying to help everyone. Their message is going to help someone at some point on that person's journey. Not everyone is ready to listen to what I have to say, but there are people out there on either side who are right primed and ready to listen and get started on their journey for any of the other influencers in this space. Okay. I want to just reiterate, this is not bashing anyone. This is not bashing anyone's methodology. People helping people, meeting people where they are and giving them the information that allows them to get started and move in the right direction is what this is about. Okay. Find what works for you and be successful with that. All right. Take it easy, guys.